scheduled meeting, August 11th, 2021 at 6 o'clock. Cindy, do you want to call the call?
Bixler,
Here.
Wellington,
Here. I make a motion for the state of quorum.
A second.
vote Bixler,
Yes.
Wellington,
Yes.
quorum stated.
Unscheduled guests. Where to begin?
Is there a name?
Yeah.
Sue Reed. Julie Russell.
Brett Smith.
Sharon Walker.
Carrie Nixon. Terry Smith.
Pardon me.
Are they on the schedule?
She's a scheduled guest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Tracy Walker.
Charles Wellington. I'm there for freedom. He realized I guess.
Shad Bracken.
Carrie Bracken. Kimberly Hall.
Tom Russell.
Randy Reed.
Ty Harper.
Don Ware.
Mrs. Wonders.
I think we did down here. Maybe Luke.
Does anybody want to speak?
I can start. Although I've resigned from this board, I still care a great deal about freedom and its citizens. So I feel obligated to address the board regarding its scheduled agenda items and its behavior. I see on the agenda line number 8, discussion and action to appoint a temporary mayor until the first meeting after the September 14th runoff election. I don't understand the necessity for that unless you need a mayor's signature to push something through. Number 9, discussion action on Newtown Freedom logo. I'll let that go. There's more pressing business in my mind. Number 10, discussion action on having city attorney prepare potential ordinances for vote at next meeting pertaining to. I guess one question I have is, why did you get rid of the old city attorney who specialized in municipal law and who graduated at the top of his class and represents other municipalities? Is there something that he wouldn't defend about your behavior is why you got rid of him? Or is this a personal or professional decision? Line item C, it's not a trial or anything. There's nothing, I'm just addressing the board. Sub C, subcontract consulting service for building inspections. To me, this seems like a waste of taxpayers' money. I don't know why you're so excited about code enforcement. Are you trying to make the city a housing authority? Line D, increasing permit fees. What permits and why increase the fees? Same thing with line item E. Increase inspection fees. What inspection fees? Why increase those fees on the people of freedom? Line item number 11. Discussion action to have Oklahoma State Auditor Brenda Holt move forward with forensic audit. Is this for real? Do you even know what, why, or how forensic audits are done by the state auditor? Do you have a good reason? Will this have a cost to the taxpayers? And why would you put a community through such foolishness?
Yeah.
Line item 12, discussion action to remove Town of Freedom dilapidated buildings inspector. We don't have one of those. I assume you're referring to our state trained code enforcement officer who handles, among other things, dilapidated buildings. Line item 13, discussion to remove Town of Freedom gas inspector. PRC is our inspection company, but I assume you're referring to Randy Reed, who was a former board member and who dealt with our gas contracts and assisted with gas-related issues. Why is he no longer good enough to serve the town? I know this winter when other uncontracted gas utilities were charging their customers thousands of dollars, the people of Freedom continued with their normal gas rates. In fact, the gas rates that the citizens of Freedom paid that winter were the same gas rates that were lowered several years ago because of Randy Reed in his negotiations for favorable gas rate. Line item 14, discussion action to remove Town of Freedom billing clerk. I'm not a lawyer, but in my estimation, this is possibly a violation of labor laws. This is going to open the town up for a lawsuit and quite possibly additional charges involving the violation of her civil liberties because you're targeting her because of personal issues that have nothing to do with her documented job performance. Line item 15, reestablishing city scope of work, set up goals for the Town of Freedom. Cam Ludington held part-time until the new utility clerk hired. Kama is an elected official and therefore cannot work an administrative role. If she does, she cannot be compensated for it. This was outlined in the training that I hope you went through. Line number 16. This one, I'm not sure I understand why you would sell a generator that works by another generator, and selling the mower makes no sense either. None of those things are owed on. They were done through grants. Line item 17, terminate airport land lease and start mowing and spraying airport. Once again, it seems like you're reinventing the wheel so you can say that it belongs to you. I don't know why you would terminate a lease where an individual pays the town to hay the airport property. It doesn't cost anything to the town. Line item 18, parents and iron for metal sale. I don't know where that is. The county used them. Does that have to go out for bid? Same thing with K&S Tire. Line item 20, discussion action regarding leasing the AMF building to Shane Morris. This building is something that Freedom has used as a community center, and it's rented out to individuals and organizations who don't need or cannot afford to rent the American Legion. Are you saying that you want to stop utilizing this building for people in the town so that one person can lease it? Why would you do that? This probably needs to go out to bid, but I would consult your attorney. Item 21, authorize Freedom Schools to improve user-run softball, baseball field. The school's always been able to utilize the ball field. That's more political spin. Line item 22, donation for the park. The board doesn't need to do an approval if somebody's donating anything, other than if they want that on the record for some reason. So that pretty well clears it, but I hate to see people in this community and that I've worked with for years be railroaded. You've been unnecessarily cruel to these employees for first rescinding their compensation of utilities, then counter refusing to make a decision without Matt's presence in a quorum regarding recompensation, then later tabling review compensations for yet another meeting, then finally deciding at a final meeting not to give them their review face-to-face nor their yearly raise, nor correct their pay cut that you initiated. Now you want to fire one employee without documented cause and drive the other employees' roles, from what I can see, into obsolescence by using third-party contractors, which will cost more to the taxpayer. These are not just employees that you're messing with. These are members of our community, relatives, friends, longtime residents. They live here. Why are you trying to destroy them? I think your leadership is hateful. You're here to cause division and destruction using the same models and methods that were used to dismantle and restructure the school and chamber. They are lesser institutions for it. You're driven by hate, and your foolish and destructive behavior testifies to that. Come on in. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
I cannot follow Shad. I'm sorry, I just didn't have mine planned out near as much.
It was quick.
I pretty much agreed with about everything you put on there. And this is probably more personal than anything. Me and Matt used to come to the pens. We'd talk about how we were going to make the community come together. This is together, but it's not the way I was foreseeing it. I'm so disappointed. And I'm sorry you haven't been back to, we'd sit out there at night and talk about how we just want to see everybody come together and have such a good community and everything plans. I thought we were heading that direction. But I agree with Chad that just stuff that's been going on is backwards. I hate to see people get into a community position. I mean, you're elected. You were elected honest and square. But through that elected position and use that power for either personal vendettas or personal gain. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's driving it right now. But it's sad, and I'm disappointed. Thought we was friends. I've batted for you many times. And people here, I've even told people sitting here right now, no, man, we're good. I'm just disappointed.
Thank you, Terry. Anybody else?
Well, I agree with what's been said, and I just hope you'll keep in mind that you are working for the people. I mean, you're representing us. That's what board members and trustees do, is represent their constituents.
Thank you, Jerry. Anybody else?
I do have one quick question, and it's just really trivial. But have you guys had an executive, have you went into executive session since the last meeting? Okay. My question is, how did it come about that Cam is on this line item to work part-time in the office if you didn't communicate with each other? And if you did, that's in violation of the meeting laws. We all know that. So I guess that's my question. If you weren't in executive session and talked about it, then when was that talked about?
When was it?
Well, I can answer that
Cindy?
for us. Do you mind if I answer?
Yeah.
Drew Cunningham. I'm an outlet lawyer. That's who I talk to, quite frankly. And so any ideas I've been throwing at him. So that's who I've been relaying my concerns and wanting to do direction on. And
So you
to
yourself
Drew.
just talked to
Yes.
Kim?
No, to
about
Drew.
it? Oh, to
Drew
Drew,
Cunningham.
okay,
Lawyer.
Okay.
In outlet.
okay.
And it's closer for me to get. It has nothing to do with Kyle being in Woodward. I go through Alva every day to go to the city. And so I chose somebody local in Woods County, not Woodward County, and I threw it up there. And he seems to be a good guy, he's very knowledgeable, and that's who I go in contact with.
And
So-
what has Dawn done to make you all put that on the agenda for discussion? I mean, she works for us, all of us, so what is it?
It's a restructuring. We're restructuring some things.
For
To
what?
have more money available for other things.
So you're gonna donate your time to take her job?
Yes,
And why did you two join the board? Just wondering.
for the good of the community.
And what else?
The good of the community.
So you're gonna take somebody's job away?
It's not easy.
Then why are you doing it?
What has she done that you're gonna fire? What
Yeah.
terrible thing has she done?
Is there a plan of improvement that you've given to her to work on?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything in her employee file?
Is the town not financially sound?
This restructuring, is this some plan that was put together by the Board of Trustees, or is this some outside influence with constituents? I guess if you have a plan for restructuring, that's a term that you're restructuring for some reason, and I guess there doesn't seem to be evidence for that.
And Kim's gonna take that over until you rehire somebody else, so what's the deal? What's your personal vendetta, your salary, whatever?
The gentleman back here has his hand raised.
I'm new to here, and I'm only concerned with something I just heard you guys all say. And I was a union carpenter for 40 years. And if you don't have cause, and you haven't offered somebody, especially anyone who's been at their job for long enough to be, 6 months, everybody's 50% or they can be fired. That's the way Labor Board looks at it. You've been there for any time and considered competent enough to give a raise to, you gotta have cause to fire them, or you guys may be opening yourselves up to a fat lawsuit, and they don't have to pay their attorney.
Yeah, you need
Okay.
to plan it.
They don't have, you guys pay their attorney while they come after you for cause. Whoever it is you're letting go of, I don't even know. That's how, I'm just saying, I'm a taxpayer now and I bought a place here. So
Welcome.
if we're going into debt for, if we're gonna make a boo-boo, let's not make that one. You know what I mean?
What's your name?
Louis Mealy, my dad was an attorney for 40 years and I was a great disappointment as a carpenter. I built the Skyway Bridge, I did the Tropicana Dome where you watch the Devil Rays play, I built the Bellagio Hotel in Vegas, I've been all over, and I'm telling you that the unions know how to manipulate the labor board, and the labor board won't allow you to fire someone with no cause if they've ever received a raise. And they've worked for you past, most people think about you got 90 days, but really 6 months. You know how you say, oh, you got 90 days and I can let you go anytime? Really, you can fire them anytime in 6 months and they won't come out. They won't. They don't have cause. But if you've stayed at any period of time considered competent, I don't know how many people you guys have let go, and they received raises and nothing in their file that says you didn't do this right, you're not doing that right, you were insubordinate, you're taking a risk.
Okay, thank you.
Because, just saying, in case I'm paying part of the fee.
Thank you.
Someone back here mentioned on one of the line items where you was gonna step in for clerk as you fired Dawn, the next line item said until you guys hired someone else. You stated that you was gonna relieve Dawn of her duties to save money to put elsewhere. To me, that shows it's going right back to the same job position, but just a different person.
Well, we're restructuring it with new duties and new qualifications.
So what are those?
to learn those?
Anybody else?
What's the new qualifications?
Work in progress.
So then how can you let her go if you don't even
Because
have
here's the
that
deal.
in writing?
Here's the deal, we've got people that are taking money, right? They get paid to work here, correct? We've got people that got utilities compensated, correct? You just heard Shad mention that. So we need to check.
Not
some-
anymore.
There was
Right.
water
It
Right.
wasn't just water.
and rubble.
Water, trash, sewer, and gas at cost, if
Yeah.
anybody wants
But-
to put
but
that
it's
on
still
the
a
record,
cost.
which you
It's
guys
still a
have
cost.
yet to give any evidence of what that real number was.
We've asked for numbers, Shad.
That's why we're asking for an audit.
To see how much trustees and employees receive
It
in
was illegal.
compensation.
Illegal.
It was
Please.
illegal.
How's it illegal?
What, yeah,
There was
I,
no ordinance.
Are we
It was,
gonna go all
it's
the way back to
illegal and there was
1979?
no tax forms for reporting on the compensation.
Well, I better call everybody from 1971 to the present that served on the board, because they probably need a heads up that you're coming for all of us.
Kama, do you?
Then I'll have to
approximate-
investigate what you're saying further, because I think that's a bunch of bull butter too.
What is the approximate cost on the forensic audit? Because forensic audits are not cheap, you're talking about.
And why would you
$60,000.
spend that kind of money digging for nothing? When you're saying you're trying to save money by
It's not.
removing an employee?
Well, it's not nothing.
Please tell us. We're all wondering.
Like Terry said, a forensic
Yeah.
audit is very, very expensive. It's gonna cost the town a great deal of money to have that done. There needs to be a basis, a reason for calling for a forensic audit. A forensic audit?
That's expensive. I have no idea.
One more rewind
There's
to
not.
Terry's question when she asked when that was discussed, that Kama would take that position. Kama started to say, ask Cindy that it happened at last meeting, and Matt continued with it happened with the lawyer. So would you guys clarify which place that happened
Sure.
at?
It first started with the last meeting where we had this special, where we went into executive session.
Yes, for 5 minutes.
Then.
I just want you to know, since you're interested in saving town's money, that you have $47,000 in CARES Act money that is slated for the town of Freedom, which you can use to give to the people of Freedom for their utilities. You can give it to employees, which I'd probably give them huge bonuses for being such a pain to them. But that's the things you need to be looking at, not tripping over dollars to pick up dimes with these silly things of compensation, which, like I said, you still have never given any number. And I would be glad to go back through my utility bills during my tenure and see how much you think I cost the town. I mean, it doesn't cost the town anymore for me to flush the toilets at my house at the end of the day. So if you're talking about actual numbers of what it costs, that's something we need to define, I guess. Because I still think it's an arbitrary argument. That's why I chose not to vote on it. There's more pressing matters to conduct for the town, but nevertheless, that's all I've got.
Well, you can go back to compensate Chad, me, and some of us for being at the sewage wood at 3 o'clock in the morning too. For absolutely no pay or anything. That's part of it.
We could sit here all day and go back and forth. We really need to come together, as you all
Well,
stated.
I'm gonna go
Listen, let me talk, please. So, let's figure a direction to move forward with all of us. Obviously, we've got emotions flowing. Everybody's all pissed off. Shad resigned at the last meeting, so he hasn't been here to give us any direction. We are new at this. I'm not admitting that. We're gonna have faults. But there also is good, despite what Carrie may say about me and Phil, that I'm trying to figure out how to help y'all with and do. And I'm not trying to take away from Dawn. I'm not personal vendetta against Randy. I don't have a personal vendetta against any of you guys. Never have. But if we're gonna do this, let's do it where we go forward and quit talking about the past and give us some direction. Chad, I mean, you're the one that left us. And so,
It was 2-1 every time he turned around and.
we only had 2 meetings, or 3 meetings. Let us all start working and communicating
Here's the
together.
reason I left the board. There was activity going on that I don't agree with, and I didn't want to be a
Well,
part
then
of.
call us. I tried to call you several times tonight.
Yes, she tried to call me outside of a meeting. That is illegal.
I called you for the grand opening over at Sharon. You know what I mean?
You just said what
I
you
did.
called. I left this board for what I thought was very valid reasons. Obviously, 2 against 1. Second of all, there are things that have been done that I don't think are right and probably not legal. Is another reason I left. The third reason is I can argue with you two until I'm blue in the face, but you came into this office with preconceived notions and ideas of what was going on. You were following this official narrative that has been streaming through Freedom for quite some time. If you were really interested in all of this going on, Cameron Nixon or Michelle Sheelight or yourself could have taken a part in local government and come here and address the board about anything, given any written propositions for stuff at any time. But all of a sudden, everybody's here, and it's amazing that in the meetings, there's no great conversation about anything with the other board members because you have your minds made up about things before you get here. First item coming in the office, your first meeting was to get rid of utility compensation. Which is, I can't believe we're still talking about it. It's such an arbitrary and stupid argument to have.
Then why are we having it?
Because we are pointing out
Away.
the fact of how stupid all this is. Matt's talking about coming together. Yeah, that's great to come together. This is not coming together. This is coming in and ripping things apart and dismantling it and reorganizing it just like has been done with other organizations in town.
Okay, well, the community voted for change. Change is what you're getting.
Well, like you might.
I came here to hide from change, man. You guys had everything that was in the past. I left some stuff out I left my door unlocked for the first 3 months. Nobody went in.
But
You guys have something here. Don't screw it up. Whatever it is, the problems and difficulties you have between each other, you must have known each other since you were kids. Somebody in this room probably, or knows someone who's changed his diaper, so let's all get off our high horses for a minute. Don't get a big lawsuit over getting rid of people for no cause. If you have somebody you want to train them. If they can't do it, they can't do it. Then you get somebody else. And instead of having a bunch of hard feelings over everything and everyone feeling like somebody's trying to backbite, he's probably really trying to bring something here. But the way he's going about it isn't mixing well, guys. And you should be staying, should take back your leadership role, even if you got to argue. Who's going to argue our side or the other side or whichever side I end up on? Because I don't know yet. I'm just trying to avoid like getting the big fucking, oh, hey, guess what? We got to need you $3,500 kick in this year because we got sued. Let's not do that.
Something that I was wondering
But,
about,
you know-
if saving money, is, and maybe I don't understand, was there something about they're gonna require someone to have permits to do
Construction?
things? And do they now?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so,
Why wouldn't you want to have a quality that you build going forward? It'll protect us all on
Well,
values and property. That's
I
one
think
thing.
it's because who's gonna inspect it?
Well, this
Who?
third party guy, the
Yeah, and that's
individual
gonna cost
that didn't-
money.
Not from the town, the
Not-
individual doing it.
That's
So like if I
exactly
were,
right.
if I were to buy a
Costs
building right
us.
now,
No, it doesn't.
if I were to buy a building right now and redo it, I'm gonna pay an architect, pay an engineer, all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
That's what we need to be
Well,
doing.
some people, I mean, you know how
But
we
he's
are in
going
freedom,
together.
we might not do it that way.
But maybe
But-
it's time to like integrate some
But
of that
a little
change.
town of 300 people,
Other towns do.
I don't think, no, little towns don't do that.
Being are small and they do it.
I can say one thing, when we had our house in Alba, we went to build a carport, the city threw a fit about it. They didn't want us to do it, they wanted us to go to the mayor and buy a little aluminum carport and secure it to the ground, and we were building one out of 2 7/8 pipe and C-purling, and they said it wasn't structurally sound enough till we took all the measurements and testing. Because they wanted us to go through their city board members to buy something.
We're selling the carports.
But we're not asking for that.
If there's
Well,
gonna
As
be,
of yet,
But what,
No,
yeah,
We just want to bring it up to a standard, you know, bring it up to a standard is all I'm asking.
I
I'm not trying to
realize,
break everybody's
yeah.
piggy bank because
well,
it costs
I know,
money.
but
Banks
I,
gotta write a loan, they can agree that to a loan, I mean, just
Yeah.
like all of us.
So you're saying if I wanna put a fence up, I gotta get a permit?
I think there should be.
You're full of crap.
Well, I may be, it felt pretty good earlier.
It
But
just
what I'm
seems like
saying is we need a
undue
standard.
bureaucracy added to
I mean, I
town
know
with
how
the
to
name
put a
of
fence
freedom.
up. I don't need
I'm not-
somebody to tell me.
I'm saying you don't know how to put a fence, but what if the other guy down the street is putting up a fence and it's T-post and hog wire or something, and you're doing this beautiful fence? We want it to
I
look
got
good.
that scenario. It's
Yeah, you've
fine.
got an awesome fence at your house, dude. It's
we
good.
have.
I think what he's pitching to you is the homeowner situation. Are you gonna alleviate the homeowner of needing to hire a contractor? Or are you gonna require them to hire a contractor like they do in Florida? If you wanna hang a front door, you
Just
gotta
on
call
your
a
trades.
GC now.
Just like on your
You give me
mechanical,
$500 to
electrical,
change your
and
front
plumbing.
door.
Just on the trades of electrical, plumbing, and mechanical, that's it.
That should be anyhow.
Yeah,
That's
So you
Exactly
don't
right.
say don't burn it
Exactly.
down. Yeah. But he's talking about a fence and you're telling him yes.
But also though, if you create a standard, you don't want a barbed wire fence next to you if you're doing a privacy fence like this guy just built, or a hot
We
wire
don't-
fence.
We don't live in a
But
city,
see, that's
bro.
what I
I
was
moved
gonna
away
say.
from where I should
You
have.
talk to your neighbor. You talk to your neighbor
Obviously, it seems
and
like.
make a deal.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go this half and you go this half and then, you know, on the other side, they can do the same thing.
Is that it? Is
One more
anybody else?
question on relieving Randy of his duties, Ty of his and Dawn of his. Have you guys spoken to them as board members face to face?
No, I have not.
No, none of the three you've spoken to, but it's on the agenda to relieve them of their duties.
Well, don't speak to me because I won't work for you.
Okay.
Get over here.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, you'll miss him because I know. He knows how to do it and you're not gonna, I know you might think you know how, but.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I just saw
learn.
you kind of smile and I just thought,
Everybody's willing to learn.
but you know, it's not an easy job and he doesn't even spend a lot of time doing it. But he knows how to do it and how to get your bid in early so that you don't have to raise your gas rates in the middle of the winter and stuff. And,
And
you
we're doing
know,
that next month. We've talked to Mackenzie, we're working on that right now.
well, who's Mackenzie?
She's the one that controls everything.
Oh, okay,
Mackenzie has,
okay.
I've
And,
been on
but,
the phone with her today and yesterday.
well, good. But you know,
Anybody else?
I guess.
I don't want to see a division, I want to see us all work together, and despite all this craziness that's going on. So,
Well, we think the craziness is with you guys.
so maybe it's on both
I mean, how
sides.
can I say that?
So maybe we find a
think the
medium.
craziness is with you
Maybe we
guys.
find a medium to work together. That's what we need to be talking about.
Well, do you,
It takes.
Yeah.
Now, and now by just you deciding with, who else, how many members are there?
two?
There's only two?
Three
So
right
just when,
now. There will be three.
there will be a third, and then the 2/3 majority carries, so what
Right.
you guys decide is gonna be, and we're gonna have permitting, and then it's just, it's gonna be a reach into everybody, of control. Something that I ran away from, is you're telling me he's coming here,
Yes.
right?
I just think there ought to be some type of standard on these buildings and stuff we're doing. I mean, just be honest with you. That's it. I'm not trying
If
to,
you increase your footprint here, are you not required to pull a permit?
that's what I'm saying we should do. Any type of thing we do here, we need to.
If
have
you
some-
add to the structure, you make the building bigger, you add it to the footprint, does that require a permit?
I say yes.
Does it now? That's what my question is.
But what we should do though is.
Okay,
have
for
review-
commercial properties though, it does,
That's
right?
what, yes. Not on
Because,
the home. I'm talking on the commercial right now.
Not on commercial,
I said yes on commercial.
okay, but not on home.
Yeah, right now I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about commercial. All
Well,
this
that,
is related to
that always
commercial.
comes right,
Then I'm
as soon
gonna
as
work
the
on
shoe
home.
drops,
Right.
the other drops. And that's just because you've already given up that sovereignty, it's gone.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just wanting to know if we're surrendering,
Yeah,
it's
no.
up to you two to decide, right?
Well, unless Shad comes back, he's already.
And then you still got 2 to 3. You still got the majority with 2 out of 3.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, it's new math to me, bro. You know, you're gonna have to explain to me how 2 divided, 3 divided 2 to 1 is not always a winner.
That's why they don't have even numbered boards.
Well, yeah, but it seemed to me like 3 is not enough.
I'm on a 5-member board.
And 5 is, well, I guess if 4 of them are my brother, I'm all good,
4 to 3.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
guess
that's
if
the way it
3 of them
works.
in my pocket, I'm
That's the
all
way the
good.
board works.
Right.
You have a swing vote. That's not a 50-50 relationship.
Okay, we're gonna move
How do you get a
on.
swing vote?
You usually have, well, just like Kamala Harris sits in front of the
That's
Senate, she's the tiebreaker.
This probably isn't appropriate. I'm gonna hijack your meeting for 10 seconds.
Sharon, do you have anything
When you
to
have 2
say?
people vote, and there's a
Anybody
third
else?
person, and they're against them every time, there's no swing or veto or anything you can do. Now, if you have a 4-person board,
4 or 5.
or a 5-person.
I've never seen a 4-person
Or a
person.
5-person or a 7-person board, you have that luxury. But when
Okay,
you're down to a 3-person
we're gonna
board,
move on.
This is kind of a community
You just
meeting,
end up like
and
that.
I hope we have the time to talk about it, you know. I know you might have to be here later.
It's a town of meeting.
Freedom. Yeah, and there are times that you have to have a meeting where you might be here for 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 hours. I can guarantee you that, because that's the way a board works, you know.
I've heard everybody.
Can
Because the
may
public
I
has
ask
a
one
chance
more
to speak.
question? How much approximately on the forensic, how much are we talking? Because the ones that I've dealt with are a minimum, say 15 to 20,000
When
is
you-
what you send them up front.
When you unwind that can, it keeps emptying.
Yeah,
Like he said, to 71. So if it's not okay today, it's not okay from the first day you did it. So that kind of smells like a vendetta to me. Why not let sleeping dogs lie?
Well, they say there was no ordinance. The town board voted for it.
Like I'm saying, they're gonna vote for this, you guys voted for that, that's how it is, start from forward, go forward from here. I think that'll get you a lot more, is it Matt?
Yes, sir.
I think that'll get you a lot more traction with these people.
Well, I didn't get
Honestly,
the answer to my
if you wanna
question
move
about
forward for real,
what's
forget about what
driving-
happened in the past.
That's what I'm saying.
Are you gonna still, if you had an ex-wife, would you still argue with her?
I still do.
Well, see, that's it, that's the problem, man, that's what, it's already done, it's done.
What's driving the decision to conduct a forensic audit of the town?
I just want an audit of a benchmark of where we're starting and then after I'm done with the thing. And I'm more than willing to pay for
And
it.
that takes a forensic audit?
It makes it
She
sound
said she
like
could do
you're
anywhere from
breaking
3
the
to
law.
5 to answer your question, Terry. I've talked to Brenda Holt. It'll only take her a month to bang it out for me.
I don't think you can
5,000.
pay for it,
Yes.
Matt, because that's a.
If you make a donation to the town and you allocate that
Oh,
fund,
Then
is that
they ought
why
to
your
pick who does it.
donation-
If
is
you're
that
gonna
what your
donate the money,
donation
then
is
they ought to
for?
pick who does
Because
it.
it's $3,500.
well, that's the
Right?
part. That's going to the
If
part.
you're donating the money for the forensic accountant, they should pick the accountant. It's kind of like you get to shuffle the cards I cut them,
There you go.
right?
But what is that? I'm sorry, you mean just a benchmark?
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Well, that's the date the ledger ends. That could be any day you say it is. What does that have to do with going back?
She's just reconciling all of
Yeah.
the forensic thing that got thrown out of proportion, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to talk to Drew, but
I think an audit's out of proportion.
I
This
know.
is the date on this row, and anything down from there is what I
it's just
did.
an audit, Chad. That's all it is.
I think you guys are
Well,
full of
you-
it. That's all. You guys are full of it. Thank you,
It
everybody,
kind of
for your
looks,
time.
it kind of looks.
So what about the yearly audits? What does that, is
I
that
haven't
not
got to
show
see
here?
it. I haven't got to see
Let's
it.
go, Sue, there, you're not gonna change their mind, it's how it's gonna
I
be.
wanted to say one thing. I can tell you, that it kind of made me think when I thought, okay, they're gonna have this big forensic audit, that Dawn has done something wrong, or Cindy has done something wrong. That is not the case. Dawn has not done anything wrong to, or what are you saying? What does that say?
Well, I've asked to look at financials and they don't want to show them to me. And I'm
You are full of it, Kama. Tell the truth.
Didn't you take some home
Tell
and
the
make a
truth.
copy of them, which is illegal?
and then.
Yeah. Did you make copies of something and take it out of his office?
To look at things.
Yes or no?
All I was screamed at.
Yes or no? Did you do that or not?
Dawn.
Because you lied to me. I accused you of lying to me. You said, yes, I did.
You
I
were
said, "I will never
screaming
lie
at
to you
me,
again."
don't you trust me and Cindy? And then you started flipping through it and reading out the utility bill. And then you threatened
I found a
me
copy in your
that I
notebook.
can't see any of this stuff unless we have a public vote on allowing me to
Take
do
things
it.
home. I didn't say you couldn't look at it. You couldn't take it home.
We've never denied you access to anything here locally at the office. You have always had the right to come in.
I
and
have
look
a
at it.
right to look at it at all times. You guys aren't letting me see it.
It's not at
Can't
home.
take it home.
According
So,
to the OML
that's what-
inquiry board that I inquire on, and you
And
have the
but
right,
I-
and everyone else in here has the
And I had
right.
the right to inquire too, and I was told as a trustee, I can see anything I want at all times, period.
Not taking it
You
home.
can't take it
Not
out of
taking
the
it out of the
office and make copies.
Public records for individuals are not public records for everyone. I don't want everyone seeing my bill, and I know everyone else doesn't want to see.
I was
want us to see
elected
their
to
bill.
see it.
You were, but at your house, it is not secure.
It is secure.
You have the person living in your house that is not on this town board.
And you've
It is
never
not secure.
taken, you've never taken anything home, ever.
I take public record home. The bills that get paid that can be seen by everyone is the only thing I take home.
That's why we're having an audit.
Because you
That's
take
what
that
That
shit.
doesn't explain why you're having an audit. That doesn't explain.
An audit
it.
Because I take the
It
town.
doesn't sound to me like you
Has
were
there-
denied
has-
access to any
Has there
record.
ever been an audit of the town?
Every year.
They have an
A
audit.
detailed audit.
You
A
have an actual
detailed
audit.
audit. I can't tell anything by a detailed audit. It's just a bunch of annual numbers.
Been learning.
Oh, my God.
Still, I'm still asking, what's driving the need for a forensic audit? And I'm not getting that answer.
Maybe they wasn't sure what the word forensic meant.
I'm looking at the definition of it, and it means something criminal, okay, and to,
Yeah,
that needs
accusing
to,
someone
the
of stealing
investigation of crime, which I guess that word is kind of what probably threw us all off and alarmed us a bit. Probably alarmed those involved here a bit, you know.
Well, I didn't use the word forensic. But
Well, I would
Yeah,
take
no,
that,
no.
definitely
Who
change
typed the
that.
agenda?
Drew, send it to,
You're a new lawyer?
yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's trained in
Yep.
municipalities.
Exactly.
You ready to go then?
Yep. No, I want to stay with the vote.
okay, we're gonna move on. Okay, number 4, discussion action on past meeting minutes from July 14th, 2021. Have you got to look them all over?
Yes. I make the motion to accept.
I second.
No, vote, Bracken. Bracken, sorry. Fitzler, sorry.
Yes.
Wellington,
Yes.
Motion passed.
Number 5, discussion action on purchase orders for the general and fire funds.
I make a motion to accept and take action to purchase.
I second.
Vote
Yes.
Bixler? Flemington?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Discussion action on purchase of battery-operated jaws of life by ambulance/fire departments.
You skipped number 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Number 6, discussion action on acceptance of code enforcement officer resignation.
I have a letter from Ty dated 8/2. That with the behavior of the new trustees, I have developed a mistrust of them and feel their objectives may not be in the best interest of the town, and thereby tender my resignation as code enforcement officer effective immediately.
Make a motion to accept his resignation.
I second.
Thank you.
Vote Bixler?
Yes.
Flemington?
Yes. Okay, number 7, discussion action on purchase of battery-operated jaws of life by ambulance/fire departments. They will be using money received by fundraisers.
Make a motion to take action and approve the purchase of battery-operated jaws of life by ambulance and fire department.
I second.
Vote Bixler? Appreciate it.
Yes.
Flemington?
Yes. Discussion/action to appoint a temporary mayor until the first meeting after September 14th runoff election. Do we need to discuss this?
I don't want to be mayor, I can tell you that. I do not want to be mayor. Are you interested in it?
Well, I'm not interested, but I'll do it.
All right then, it's yours. Make a motion to, or take action to appoint Kama as temporary mayor until first meeting after September 14th, runoff of the election.
I second.
Vote Bixler?
Yes.
Flemington?
Yes. Number 9, discussion action on new Town of Freedom logo.
I think we should send something out so we have a letterhead. Whenever we're out getting these grants and these people donating money, because right now we don't have other than block lettering, just develop something. And we could probably do that in-house. But we need something to send out to these guys that are donating money to the park deal, other than the Town of Freedom, something nice. Because we've got 3 guys that are willing to give money to this project up here, as well as myself.
So you're talking about like welcome signs?
Well, no, like some type of letter I can send out to these guys.
No, but like what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
a welcome sign.
Yeah, something, just something for them.
Like, is there, who's gonna,
We can do that in house. We can just, I can do it online.
Or we just take the school's logo and F with an eagle in it. Call it good.
That'd be kind of cool. Make it universal.
It's already done.
Get a hold of Mr. Weber and get that. We can use that.
When we use posting the colors,
Huh?
why don't we use posting the colors?
All right.
Sorry, public discussion should be in, my apologies.
They're good.
I make the motion,
To accept the school logo. There you
make the motion to accept the new Town of Freedom
go. Or I'll
logo.
just not call those guys and get their money, and we can just sit there without it.
And then, could we get some examples and then vote
Yes.
later on what logo to accept?
Yes, we can do that.
Could we put out a like people to submit one and
Yes, ma'am, you can handle that. That's you.
Just let the community submit their ideas.
That's fine.
Okay, well, I make a motion to accept community ideas on the new China Freedom logo.
After a second.
Vote Ludington,
Yes.
Bixler.
Yes.
Number 10, discussion action on having city attorney prepare potential ordinances for vote at next meeting pertaining to local code enforcement. Okay. And follow State of Oklahoma Office of State Fire Marshal Authority having jurisdiction form, subcontract consulting service for building inspections, increase permit fees, increase inspection fees.
I'd say on this one, we get a little bit more information on everything. What I mean by that is, see what the people want also, you know, like, there's some, there's some good ideas, there's also some not so good ideas. Maybe we find a median that addresses keeping the standard and saying ourselves better than what we have going forward, and allowing us to have a standard for any type of development, if it's residential or commercial. And with that being said, I say we table this and do a little bit more homework, and maybe next meeting, open it up to everybody again, and we come up with some further information of how you would see it proceeding, and throw it out there, let people voice their opinion. What's your idea?
Well, I think we need to make a decision about the authority having jurisdiction form.
Okay, so if we take action, can we leave like another open-ended discussion on it to better streamline it going forward? That would be my advice. You know, we can accept it and move forward, but as we move forward, be willing to adapt and listen.
Isn't that why you're here?
Mm-hmm.
Take action on these. They can't table your deal.
But I think to name someone.
Oh, here,
That would coincide with the, number 12 was wrong verbiage. What's the firm? I don't have that information with me. Drew has that.
One is this one.
Is it? Do you have that? So which one was it, Cindy?
It's the form that's the,
Thank you.
Pass it. So this is what you're stating, Cindy, is on number B, or letter B, miss, we would accept this, so we'd be acting as our own, correct? All right.
but you don't have anyone in place to act as your own.
Except that third-party entity.
That's what I said, you would have to also act on,
We need to act on that
on
too.
C as well.
I don't have that information, do you?
I have it. Do you?
Drew's I have a proposed commercial rate schedule.
Is that, I don't know if that's it. Oh, thank you, sir.
And here's a contract for services.
Oh, highly consult, okay, gotcha. Gotcha.
Is that all
Yep.
right? Okay, that's what I said, that's what Drew sent me.
Okay. But then, if we take action and we go forward with this, is there room to allow us going forward to listen and kind of find the median on price scheme, cost, residential, commercial,
You could word it as, I guess, with the
fences?
possibility of amending.
Let's do that. That way it leaves it open. Do you mind if we do that? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's accept it, let's move forward with it, and then let's amend it as we go forward.
Amend this.
Yeah, like a cost association, clarify if it's just for commercial, or if it's for residential, or if it's for remodel, or if it's for demo, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Take a little bit of due diligence, if you will, some time.
Because, like I said, you can, like you said, table A, D, E, and take action on B, C. And then next meeting, A, D, and E will be on there until you make a decision. Every meeting it'll just come back until you make a decision.
Or we can just accept it and make that a first, I like the first one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can accept him to make potential ordinances, that's, yeah, I mean, and then,
Yeah.
because that's what you're doing, is your action is on having the attorney prepare potential ordinances.
Yes, ma'am.
So, like, nothing, that can't be signed or anything until that ordinance is done
Anyway,
anyway. Right.
and he'll be back Monday, so,
Which
okay.
then the ordinance will have to be approved at next month's meeting.
Yes, ma'am. So let's do that. Make a motion.
Okay, I'm making a motion to have the attorney prepare potential ordinances for vote at next meeting pertaining to A, all of, oh,
A through
okay.
E.
A through E,
Which you,
local code enforcement,
Gotta read it.
follow state of Oklahoma Office of State Fire Marshal Authority having jurisdiction form, subcontract consulting service for building inspections, increase permit fees, increase inspection fees.
I second.
vote Livingston?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 11, discussion action to have Oklahoma State Auditor Brenda Holt move forward with
Audit.
audit.
There you go. I make a motion to move forward.
A second.
Do we really need 12 since he resigned and the verbiage was wrong on 12?
Hold on, I haven't taken a vote yet.
Oh, sorry.
Bixler, your vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Ludington?
Yes.
Back to the audit. Was the town paying for that, or?
No,
Yeah.
I'll make a donation. So number 12, do we need to just, all right, go ahead. You have to read it since it's on the agenda.
Okay. Number 12, discussion action to remove Town of Freedom dilapidated buildings inspector.
A motion to take action to remove Town of Freedom dilapidated building inspector.
A second.
Vote Bixler?
Yes.
Ludington?
Yes.
You can remove after resignation.
We have to still
It's
do.
on the agenda.
Yeah. Sorry for the wrong verbiage.
Number 13, discussion action to remove Town of Freedom gas inspector. I make a motion to remove Town of Freedom gas inspector.
I'll second.
Did we have a discussion? Or do you not have discussion when you?
I already did.
Oh.
Before, probably here.
Ludington, your vote?
Yes.
Bixler?
Yes. I already talked to him,
To him?
to her,
To who? Oh.
Blue Mark. I've been talking to him for about a month.
Who?
Energy provider, Blue Mark.
Oh, okay.
And so she's been talking to me about everything and getting me all up to speed.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we're gonna sign a 3-year renewal and a real low rate.
Okay.
keep everything moving forward on a positive track.
Okay.
And you don't have to bother anybody.
Number 14, discussion, action to remove Town of Freedom billing clerk.
What is your thoughts on that? I guess, Dawn, are you willing, if you did stay on, are you willing to work with us and talk with us? And
If you don't lie to me or about me.
if I don't what?
What? Lie to me or lie about me.
I've never
Okay,
lied
I
to you.
make a motion to remove
I've never
Town
lied
of
to you.
Freedom billing clerk.
Let's hold that for a second. So,
I think you've already discussed it over the phone or somewhere. You haven't ever had a meeting about it. If it is, let's see the minutes.
the what?
The minutes of it.
So Dawn, you're willing to listen and help and do stuff?
What has she been doing? I mean, honestly, she hasn't been bucking you all.
It doesn't matter, and this is why me being a third person on this board makes no difference, because now you're at a tie with each other still. So what if she votes to get rid of her and you vote to keep her?
You can also let a motion not move forward.
Or we can break and have executive session.
Has to be on the agenda.
No? God, gotta learn this stuff.
You can take a break and call the attorney.
Oh, that's a good
He's on
idea.
vacation, isn't he?
He's in Oklahoma City. Hey, yeah, can I do that? Let me take a break. I wanna call Drew. Is that doable?
Never had that happen.
Let's try it.
I have an idea, just a minute. Dawn, would you be willing to come in and work from 8 to noon? Or 8 to 1? Okay. 8 to 1, and then would it be all right with you if I came in the afternoon for the phone? To answer the phone?
I think you're getting in the realm of back to talking about a person's roles and responsibilities,
Yeah,
which I think
I
has
looked
to be
that
an
up, Chad, and I
executive
can do
section.
it.
You can, okay.
Yeah.
Is that just to save money? To save money on salary?
There would be an office from 1 to 5 o'clock every day, you know, if you want to save money, there wouldn't be anybody here to run the lights or the AC.
It's not necessary.
I make a motion to keep our Town of Freedom billing clerk in here from 8 to 1.
My culture.
You did it.
And I don't know what you're going I've never seen him bonus ever.
I don't like losing friends.
On 10, camera, are these all new things? New things that we're proposing that we don't have right now? 10.
Oh my God, I went to sleep. You're running that camera. Oh, God, this is like
been rubbing my bum.
See if she'll let you have the car down the side. Sit down.
It's the sleep, that's what I
Oh my. Daughter of a clown.
It wasn't like I sat there and thought, oh, well, this is my aha moment. I'd have done something really good. Oh, hi, Valerie. I'm sorry, and it took me a minute to respond.
I'm down there for a fan.
Yeah. Well, when we came in here, there was no place to sit. I thought, oh, I know where she.
Late section.
Really? No, she was in session.
But if you feel that you change your lips on
Right there, honey.
this is on you.
Do you see her?
Yeah, that is.
How far it is. So, can we do it? She said moving forward.
Reduce hours from 8 to 1? That's what your motion was, Cameron, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And do that until next board meeting. And then let's work together, if this is how it's gonna be. Figure out duties, figure out stuff that we can all coexist with. And if there's any type of beef or distrust or whatever, everybody's got to work it out moving forward. You know? Is that something you wanna do?
Yeah, sure.
You've not been in here since you took office, but yet you told people that I don't give you any information, I won't answer your questions. Today was the first time I've even seen you since you took the oath of office. You called once and asked me, did I receive something, and told me no. That's the only time I've even spoken to you.
So let's do that, move forward. This thing over.
Second.
Yes.
Vote Ludington,
Yes.
Fitzler.
Yes.
Number 15, discussion action to reestablish city office scope of work, set up goals for Town of Freedom, Campbell Ludington help part-time until new utility clerk hired.
We'll take action. Move forward, and during the number 11, or the one above it, we will have to coexist those two, you know what I mean?
So you'll update
Yes, update, revitalize, restructure, retool
scope
up.
of work.
Yes, ma'am.
I second.
Vote Fitzler,
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes. 16, review, discussion, possible action on proposal from Northwest Electric for appropriate generator order. Sell one of our mowers on Purple Wave and sell current generator on Purple Wave.
Yes.
Which one is that?
Yeah, talk behind you, did you see it? I got two, did you put off the other estimate I got?
Well, I mean, that was the best.
So the generator we have is underrated on kilowatts, and so Scott Klein and Daryl Klein told me that they could fix it by removing it and adding a new one. That way Stuart doesn't have to go out there in the middle of the night and change it if anything defaults. And so I had a secondary guy look at it, all terrain. They looked at it. They were $3,000 higher than these fellas, and they will accept a purchase order without any money down until the first of the year. So I've spoken with Stuart on the mowing situation. We have a brand new John Deere, which is nice, and we have a Hustler. The Hustler would be the one we'd want to get rid of. That could go towards our balance of this amount. And then once that's sold, the balance is down, the remaining, they will carry the note at no charge until that generator out there, which they think they could get $8,000 for on Purple Wave. So we'll have extra money at the end of this deal. We could go put it back into surplus, to equipment, whatever Stuart needs at that time.
Explain to me again what's wrong with the one we've got, something doesn't work?
Yeah, it's under amperage. The amps on it don't work. It's lower. It's too low.
So Stuart has to go out there and with a switch or something?
Yes, yes. So,
One thing I do need to check on that, since it was bought through grant money, I need to double check that we can go ahead and,
but that, okay, that's fine.
but I just was thinking that I need to double check on that.
Okay, please. So let's take action.
Okay, I make a motion to approve action on proposal from Northwest Electric for appropriate generator order
A second.
and selling one of our mowers on Purple Bridge mower
The Hustler.
and to sell the Hustler mower on Purple Wave and sell current generator on Purple Wave.
A second.
Matt, you need to double check with Klein, because that's not the same information they gave us.
I had an all-terrain look at it too.
That it was under kilowatts.
I think that was the correct, I'll have to look at what they told me, but I met with him. And he has to flip a switch and do some stuff on that nail to make it work. Where the new one, at no cost to the town basically, it just automatically upgrade and do itself. It'll just turn on, where you don't have to call
And that
Stuart.
one will do it if AEC would change out the transformers for $6,000.
See, no one told us that.
We didn't feel it, yeah.
See, I asked Stuart about that, and I've been talking to Stuart, got photos of it, and I had two different contractors look at the current condition and existing.
I would double check with AEC and those contractors, because I would much rather if you're determined that you need an auto throw switch
Yes.
generator, to change out a $6,000 transformer as opposed to,
So did you talk to Clint? Is that who you talked to over there?
yes, yeah, this thing, yeah.
Okay. So I can have him come out and hold
But I would
it.
double check that, and I know we have those emails down from Klein.
I just wanted to work efficiently, to be less burden on Stuart, to go out there and then not
Is
cost
this
us.
the sewer deal?
Yes, lift station.
Well, you're gonna have it concrete up, you can go exercise the generator.
He's getting better. I like working with him. It's been nice. Well, let's do this, Cindy. Can we put it on there to contact AEC before we move forward with possible action of new proposal from Northwest Electric? Can we put that on there to do some due diligence? Maybe bring this up next month, and I'll just let Scott know.
Yep, you can table the next one.
Let's do that. And then we'll call AEC. I'll call Clint Rain.
So, I need somebody to see that.
Pardon me?
I need somebody to sign on the
Oh,
table.
Okay, okay, I make a motion to table the proposal from Northwest Electric until AEC is contacted.
A second.
Vote Ludington,
Yes.
Bixler,
Yes.
Okay, so can we go ahead and put one of our mowers on Purple Wave or?
Let's wait until we hear from AEC.
Oh, okay. Okay, number 17, review, discussion, action to terminate airport land lease and to start mowing and spraying airport.
Well, we can't terminate. It's another
one more.
1 more year. But what Cindy and I talked about was maybe we talk to him and see if he can keep it cut smaller until I can get some photos of everything. And I'm trying to get a grant for it to be resurfaced. That's what I'm working on right now. And so we want it as short as possible. Instead of 5 foot tall weeds, we want it trimmed and nice and prestige looking.
So Stuart mows it?
No, but what we're saying is we have a lease, so instead of it getting 4 feet
Who's the
tall,
lease with?
Austin States.
So, the city agreed that we need to talk to him and see if he can cut it at a certain height to keep it mowed
Oh, to see
down.
if Austin can keep it cut.
Yes, at no cost to the city. And he still maintains his lease, he still gets his hay. He just has to cut it twice instead of once.
Oh, okay,
And then that allows us time to take photos and stuff, turn that in, and see if we can get a grant or two to fix it up.
okay. All right.
So you wouldn't be able to terminate, you would have to
Okay,
leave that one, take no action.
I make a motion to take no action.
I second.
Okay, 18.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ludington, your vote?
Yes.
Bixler?
Yes.
Okay. 18, review, discussion, possible action to enter into agreement with Perryton Iron for metal sale. This has to do with what's at the dump, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
we need to do it. We need to clean up the dump.
Okay.
I've been down there to it this week, and it's just overgrown with a bunch of trees growing through it now, cottonwoods. It just needs hauled off,
Is
and
there any details into the agreement?
it's $2 a mile for the containers to bring to Freedom and from Freedom, but they deduct the cost of the mileage with the tonnage weight of each container.
Oh,
There's a ton of metal down there, so I don't see there being a cost at all. And they will take the appliances, there's a ton of appliances. And Stuart and I are working on getting a back end gate to the lease road and then one across from the airport, because they're going back there and dumping too. So
oh, no.
Will they pick up once or twice a year, or just dependent on how much?
as soon as
you
it
guys have?
fills, like I tried them today, then dropped one off at my shop today, we filled it up, tomorrow we're getting another one. So they're very ready to roll.
Quick, as soon as it's full.
Honestly, we could use one of those magnets with a bigger truck, 'cause there's so much volume down there. I mean, yeah, but I say we definitely enter into an agreement with them to utilize their services to clean up our existing conditions of down there for sure.
Are there scrap guys that would pay for it?
That's what we're talking about, that's what they do.
Oh, I thought we were paying
No,
them
no.
$2 a mile.
No, they
Awesome.
charge, right, they charge two a mile each
They
way.
do charge.
And then they subtract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
There's not like a,
Thank you.
you have to have it picked up every 30
No.
days or something.
Stuart and I are gonna work together and use one of our skid steers and a grapple and
Do they take old vehicles?
yes, I've actually got one at my shop they're gonna take. But you have to haul the vehicle to them, that is a stipulation on that part.
Well, I make the motion to enter into the agreement with Perryton Iron for the metal.
I second.
Vote Ludington?
Yes.
Bixler?
Yes.
19, discussion, action to work with KNS to remove tires from landfill. I talked to Stuart about this. I gave him the name of, where is it, the recycling people. Damn it. There's the Oklahoma Waste Management program to come and get tires.
Yes, ma'am.
But they weren't sure, I wasn't sure if they still did that. But I talked to Kevin Eisenbart at KNS, and he said he'd be glad to take our tires. The only problem is we can't take them all at once.
So we have to transfer them there.
We would have to have like a pickup load of tires and take it to Woodward, to KNS.
Is there a fee we charge for taking tires down there?
They're not supposed to take tires.
There's a ton of tires there.
But to use the dump, it's $5.
So maybe that's something we look at to kind of coordinate going forward to
Or
make it
just
more.
make sure we would use tires.
Yeah. Well, not only that, there's a mess
Make
down
sure
there
that
too.
when somebody goes down there, someone else is making sure what they're dumping is.
There's a ton of tires down
So
there.
does that mean Stuart has to go down there every time somebody goes to the dump?
Or you can, or I can, or anyone.
I'm fine.
I can.
If I'm around,
We
I'll
don't
go.
give the key out anymore.
Yeah, the key's not just given out, it's,
They're not trusted.
that's the way we have the tires, so.
And the
Stuart
hot
goes
tubs.
and-
There's about 4 hot tubs. We can maybe see if they work.
Awesome.
There's 4 hot
Make
tubs.
a swimming pool on it.
Hey, hook them all together.
But
Have
yeah,
beers and
Stuart
burgers.
takes,
That
Goes and
might be,
opens it.
that would be at our
Fourth of July,
expense,
when they put all the
taking the
pools
tires
in.
to K&S. We'd have to,
it would be our expense. I know in the past, I worked with the county. Has anyone contacted Randy McMurphy or Troy Ferguson to ask about
no,
that
I
option?
just,
Because I know in the past that they would come and take tires, because they use them sometimes on different projects or whatever. so-
Drainage ditches.
Drain, yeah, so.
well
Do you
then,
need any?
maybe I should table that
No,
and talk to
got
the
a shit
county
ton of rain
first.
barn for that.
All right, we're gonna table it and talk to the county first,
Okay.
okay? Do I need to make a motion to do that? I make a motion to table, the removal of tires from the landfill to K&S until we speak to the county commissioner.
I second.
Ludington, your vote?
Yes.
Bixler?
Yes, ma'am.
Number 20, discussion action regarding leasing the AMF building to Shane Morris.
So Shane is going to do wrestling classes and has quite a following group of them that want to use it. So I talked with Drew and he said we could lease it out and it wouldn't be a problem. It would start, I think, in September and end in March, $300 a month. And then we would write it up to where everybody's liabilities are minimal in this thing to cover everybody, so the town's not at fault or has any liability if a kid gets hurt. And Shane would have control over it, and that 300 goes for the water, the sewer, everything.
So it would be able to be leased
Oh,
out during
right.
that, or it
All
still
the,
could?
all the
Mats,
tables and
stuff like
chairs
that,
that
or-
are down
That's
there.
what's unfair about moving the mats every time
Yeah.
somebody wanted to
Yes,
come
ma'am.
in there.
All the tables and chairs that were bought down there were bought by the Woods County Prescribed Burn Association.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in turn that they could have their meetings down there, but I don't think they have, but 1 or 2 meetings a year, but if they.
One every February, I think.
Do you think we could work with the Legion? They've got a great leader over there and great space. I mean, is that
Well, I'm
something?
just saying,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we bought the tables and
They're yours,
chairs
yes, ma'am.
in return for being able to have the meetings there, so that the town has those tables and chairs that the Prescribed Burn Association bought. Do they need to come get all the tables and chairs?
Or could, like the time they have the meeting,
I would like to just
say
leave
maybe
them
not
alone.
have
Yeah.
a
But
breakfast
mats-
that night?
Yeah,
maybe or
those
something?
mats are heavy as heck.
Yeah, are they gonna have access to have their meeting there?
And that's when?
I don't know when
It's usually around
Is it
February.
one day or what?
Yeah, one evening.
They may work.
They
But
usually
we
eat.
don't want to, can we just roll them up to there?
Yeah.
for you? Because-
They
As long as
eat
they don't
and
have to
talk about
unload
all
and take
their.
them out. I mean, I
The
keep
new
it clean,
people,
I mean, they get
everybody.
off every day and all that stuff. But, yeah, I just don't wanna have to
No.
take everything
So
out,
that
and
one
20 to
meeting,
40.
correct?
bring it back in.
So one meeting.
Sometimes, I mean, unless they have a reason that they need to call another meeting, I mean, just like you guys have special meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
Generally, it's just one.
Generally, it's just one, but
I've been on it for 5 years.
Had 3 or 4. But
So you guys are willing to work with Shane? Everybody's willing to
it's
work
not me, it's the burn association, but I just know that the burn
with you? So you're the ringleader for
association.
the,
No, I'm on it. Katie Blum.
so we can work with her.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they're not gonna have access to it, they need to come get their papers.
September through March.
Okay.
And then if they wanna redo it again, yeah, I mean, there's summer stuff, you just feel like my kids wanna do that. But I'm gonna pay for that time.
So, you would be there like when the school has the carnival and stuff? That's in May
Yeah.
usually, isn't it?
No, it's October.
Halloween is yeah.
Isn't there carnivals at Legion?
I like wrestling. I've got a kid I like to get in class.
Well, that's, I mean, I'm gonna do it. I had
Oh,
several-
that's
I
wonderful.
had several kids, I mean, I've had several kids been after me for a while, and last time I did it, it took about 3 weeks, and I had kids come from Alva, and kids come from Wilson.
So you know how to wrestle then?
I
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know this man from, you know, and
I'm not
wrestling
good.
was a very big sport and my children were in it.
I'm good with the kids up till they start to get really good, and then they need to find a higher quality coach than me, but
Oh, well, I have
I
a
can sure
man
enough
too.
get the basics going where they can compete.
What about the few reunions and things that might be done, like, I don't know, some camping group just used it a couple of weeks ago. They rented all the spaces in the park with campers, but they must have been eating down there or something, I don't know. I
They
mean,
used it as a
just depend on the
gathering
time of
place.
year. Memorial weekend is kind of.
Yeah, I mean, summer months wouldn't be, I mean, because for me in the summer, it would be, I couldn't do it like that, but
Just
I know
during
they
this
have
time mostly.
the OKWA, which runs, the tournaments start in October, and they run through February, March, I think, and then after that is freestyle, and it runs from March until they're still doing them right now. They'll start from, I mean, it goes full tilt, but I just want to give the young kids something to do that, where they can't, because we don't have enough kids to have teams and things, I can deal with them. I can have this size and this size and this size and this age and that age, and they can go compete and do stuff. So, and I do, like I did it when I did the last time, there's an insurance company I go through the ABA, and when the kids come, last time I think it was like, it cost like $30. And I made, all the parents pay for that, that way it covers insurance in case the kids get hurt down there. Covers my butt if somebody gets hurt, and I did that the last time I did it, so.
I make a motion to approve leasing to Shane Morris for $300 a month from September to March.
I second, as long as we get a contract generated through Drew.
Yeah.
Is that right, Drew?
So I think Gillian wrote it.
Okay. Are you an LLC or individual? Just individual?
I think I still have that LLC. I need to call them. It may cost me $50 to open an LLC back up. It was an
Yes, sir.
LLC. I need to call.
I'll get with you.
Okay, yep.
I second.
Vote Warrington,
Yes.
Dixler.
Yes, ma'am.
Discussion action to authorize Freedom Public Schools to improve, use, run the softball, baseball field.
So they're getting ready to co-op with Allen Freedom, and they're wanting to have some games here in town, which would be great, I think. So through the schools right now, there's access to funds through COVID to fix up infrastructures like baseball fields, soccer fields, all that. And I think through talking with Mrs. Sheelight and Mr. Weber, we could work with the school. They would have the insurance to cover when kids get hurt, because kids will get hurt out there. That doesn't jeopardize anything at the town level. But they also have the ability to get funds to help us fix that up and maintain it to where Stewart wouldn't have to mow it, Stewart wouldn't have to spray it. And I just think it'd be a good focal point, for the town, if they're willing to do that with us. I mean, what's your thoughts?
So Freedom's co-oping with
Allen Freedom.
in softball, baseball,
Yes, basketball.
basketball.
Basketball for sure right now, yeah. They're gonna have practices in Alva,
At the rec center.
at the rec center, yeah. And then part of the games are gonna be here, and part of the games are gonna be having their own games here.
But I think we need to do something with it.
Yeah.
And
We couldn't do it with Winoka because we bumped them up a class, and Moreland don't want to do it because it bumps them up a class, but we didn't have enough high school and junior high kids who were gonna have a team, especially the girls. And Allen and Cleo's kind of in the same shape. They don't have enough kids to have a team. And I think as of right now, we've got it worked out. The school has it worked out that we're gonna try it for a year and then see what goes on. But yeah, nobody close. Like Moreland will do it for football, and I don't understand why they won't do it for baseball and basketball and stuff, but I do know the reason they won't co-op with any other sport is because they can bump into the next class. They can do it with football, because they don't just take the 2 kids or 4 kids to go play football, they take your entire enrollment. So.
plus Tracy's kids, the grandkids can go play there when they're in town, when they're driving their gator around. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think that to get it in use and somebody else taking care of it,
Yes, ma'am.
and bringing activity back to freedoms and meetings.
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion to take action I make a motion to authorize Freedom Public Schools to improve, use, and run the softball, baseball field.
I second.
Livingston,
Yes.
Dixon,
Yes.
22, discussion action to accept donation for park remodel of $3,500.
So we just got awarded Share Trust 40,000 matching grant. We had one in 19 through 20, but we've never raised a penny, so that money sat there. And it was nobody's fault. Miscommunication from Heritage down in Oklahoma City didn't get the letters out. Cindy will vouch for that. So it's not her fault, it's not Shad's fault, it's no one's fault. It just didn't get done. So I called up the board up there at Share, I know them all personally. I asked them if they would review it, and they said yes, but at a discounted rate. So we got approved for 40,000 matching.
So we have to match the 40,000.
Right.
The community.
Right, and it's for the pavilion, it's for the bathrooms, the basketball court for the kids. We're gonna move it over to the tennis courts, fix the fencing, the benches. Mrs. Gerloff is gonna be tagging this thing with me, it'll be her and I together. And we're going to start with the basketball courts, the bathrooms, the benches, and then eventually lift the pavilion up 3 feet, I think it was, to give us a better height clearance. Pour a little extra concrete for the serving, for like when there's reunions in town, or the old cowhand kickoff and stuff, so not walking through the grass. All we've got is, my wife and I gave $3,500 to start us out with, which we can turn this in, and we can get a matching $3,500. That'll give us $7,000 to get started. I have 2 other gentlemen, one in Alva and one out here, that are willing to do something if we can all do it in a professional manner and everybody not tear everybody down as we just experienced, and move forward as a team. I can get us some more money, and it'll be a great, great improvement to this town.
So who then is the town gonna be responsible for collecting the 40,000?
No, Mrs. Gerloff.
Oh,
Vanessa.
okay.
I've already spoke with her. She can't be here tonight, but she knows I'm turning into Cindy a check right now to get it started.
Okay.
And so she'll
And so
turn
the
in.
town will just have a special account for
Mhm.
this money to go into?
Yep, and that,
it's already
yes,
created, they have a policy.
Oh, okay.
yes, and that way the individuals can get a tax credit for their monetary donation.
Donation.
Yes,
Okay, that means.
but we only have a couple more months to raise it, so if we only raise 20 grand, they're only gonna give us 20 grand, even though there's 40 available. So that's why I think all of us, after this rodeo, and after we figure everything out, we really need to focus on this, because it's a great opportunity to join that alliance that all you guys want to see.
Well, what
May I
happened?
ask the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that include in-kind as well as dollars?
Not with Share. Share will not see in kind, because I was gonna pay an architect to do a deal because we were using them, and they wouldn't accept it. So it has to be dollar bills.
Voluntary only.
Yes. But like I said, we only have until December 31st to raise money. And I don't know how you all feel, but the pavilion needs lifted. And we need a little pony wall on the north side to block that north wind. We need to pour a little concrete, so when you guys are serving and doing your cowboy stuff, you guys aren't walking through those cockle burrs, you know? Stickers. And then those benches, get rid of all those benches. They get powder coated ones that'll last. Not 500 things Stuart's got to weed eat around.
But we're not taking the plaques away, right?
No, we're gonna collect the plaques, and where the handrails are, I think we're gonna fab up and powder coat some handrails that go there, and try to build something to put on left and right side where those sit on the inside. I think that'll look really nice.
Do you guys have a design? I think I would be more comfortable donating to
Yeah.
something that I can see a picture of.
That's why we gotta get
plan
somebody to
and
paint
not a-
architect. And so Tom White Designs in Enid, I've reached out to him, he's the cheapest one. So if you guys have somebody else that can draft, I'm all ears.
Yeah, if that
I'd
was
be
a draft
interested to see the draft.
of what the improvements are gonna be,
sir.
and we sure post flyers around town.
But that goes back to that town logo.
Raise donations.
Yeah, that goes back to the town logo, having something to send these guys in the mail and say, hey, I just want your money. You know, because a lot of people get tired of donating money. We'll do it if we know what we're doing it for. But here's your first 3,500. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
With fundraising like this.
I think Mrs. Gerloff has some ideas on that. I'm gonna let her kind of ramrod that. And then the second thing that Stuart brought up, which I really like, Jack, Duke, that's his name, Angel? Is that his name?
Andy's one.
Andy?
Andy's been helping out.
Who's there, Levi? And there's one more. Stuart had a really good idea. And I think we ought to run with it, and to be honest with you. Pay them minimum wage to help out. So instead of Stuart taking away from his daily stuff for the town, we create a group of kids that have a task in front of them with some oversight to get those tasks done. That's going to go a long ways teaching a man how to work, responsibilities, gets a little reward, and it's not going to be much cost. I think we should really dive into this and see if that would be something we could do and provide to these 5 kids that are high school kids. Because another thing is, if they're going to build this thing, you know what, they're not going to tear it up. Because right now, Mrs. Gerloff says the tables she's bought, everything anybody's bought has been tore up there. They knocked over a monument. So if we can teach these kids responsibility and give them something to be proud of, I think this would be a win-win for all of us.
Sounds good to me.
Can we add in the little Marshall service? Because Tana used to take really good care of that, have little mannequins. People really enjoyed Tana's decorations.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's a great
Because
idea.
Tana did a damn good job with that.
No, that's a great idea. So I think moving forward, that'll be on new business, I guess, right, for next. Well, how would that work? Because it's actually not really the town. It's the old cowhands control that, right?
And then the Legion.
That real estate is, I think, divided into 2 or 3 different.
Yeah, the town owns behind the pavilion for the water tower.
Correct.
And then the old cowhand stuff owns like the pavilion
Yes.
forward, but then the Legion owns the rest of it south.
Right.
So the Legion owns like the restroom south?
It's
Or-
it's the basketball courts.
Who has the restroom?
I think
The
that's the,
Legion.
yes.
But we maintain all of that. The league is on the Legion's property. Because like I say, the only part the town itself owns rights to is the water tower part.
Okay.
But
anyway,
we maintain it for those other organizations.
So what organization pays the boys or girls
where this money's going.
out of this?
No cost to the town, strictly donation basis. So right now we've got $7,000. Just gave 35. I can give us another 35. Call them. They'll send us a check. We got $7,000 to start with. So we can start with a drawing. We can start with demo of the existing benches. We could start with cleaning up the tennis courts. I mean, there's some stuff we can do with that money right now.
Do we have a young lady we can throw into the mix so we're not just teaching young men?
I don't know any. I'm just going off of.
I don't know who students we have this year.
Leave it open.
First I've heard of that, so you guys do talk to about it, or if you
Stuart threw it out there.
out there, yeah.
I mean,
It's a good idea.
I think it's great if we get some kids involved, anything to do with helping out everybody. So if you can track some young ladies that want to work, let's do it.
Well, I make a motion to accept the donation for park removal of $3,500.
I said,
I didn't hear you, Matt, but you said you asked about the sheriff's building.
yes.
I believe the town owns it. That's the side of the old,
No.
The community building was there.
the old community building was
So that's the town?
just west of that, and that building was the old town water.
Yeah.
So is that what the town owns?
I believe the town owns that property.
That's good. No, I thought you did.
Because the old community
I
building
thought the
used to
Legion
be
did.
just west of it, the town owned.
Yes, sir.
It could be that, I don't think the Legion owns across the alley.
East.
East. I think maybe the town owns all that.
All right, last second, the acceptance of the donation for park remodel 3,500. Pass that, second it. Cindy?
Yes.
I second it.
Got it.
Thank you.
Vote, Letty.
Yes, your name on it.
Yes, I do need a receipt though.
Yes.
You're welcome. To start.
Okay, number 23, department reports, maintenance. Stuart, has Stuart said anything? Does he have a report?
I don't have one from Stuart.
Okay. Office manager,
All good in here.
and Cindy,
Just,
Sumter.
You guys have the PO lists of where we're at and all of that in your packets.
I saw.
I did go to a luncheon meet and greet deal over in Woodward at the end of July about that Recovery Act money. And we are slated for over about $47,000. And they don't have specific timelines yet of when it will be released, when they need to use it. And they have general ones to like, they're hoping to get specifics done by the end of 21 to put out in 22 to have it spent by 24. I would like, to keep in mind, it's for infrastructure only, to help with, that's what they have right now. There's, like I said, they're still putting out specifics. But I would like to see, possibly using a lot of this money for sewer lines.
I agree with you on that one.
Because we have, we spend $5,000 to $6,000 every year for a third of the town to be like rooted out and done, but if we could replace, because a lot of ours is still the old clay, so I would like to see some of that used there. That way we can, and like I say, as soon as it comes available and we can get it, I plan on going in there and getting our stuff.
Do you have any, did they give you any indication? Like,
No, like I said, it's, and the people that spoke on it weren't from the state, they were just from the organization.
Oh,
So they-
okay.
Yeah, so I
So
don't
the
have any
state's still
specifics.
trying to work
Yes,
it out.
they're still getting the specifics of what it can be used for and, how we're gonna have to apply for it and everything. I'm sure it'll all be online on the portal.
Oh, I meant to ask, do you know anything about the T-Mobile thing? Like,
No, I haven't heard anything on that. I can go back in there and look, because sometimes you just submit and with it being, nationwide, sometimes you just don't ever hear. And if it waits long enough, all I do is I'll turn around and resubmit. Just keep trying.
okay. I make a motion to accept the department reports.
A second.
Ludington, vote.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there any new business?
Oh, one other thing I do have is my yearly audit through our third-party CPA is due. It is $3,600, which it's been that way for the municipal trust and the town stuff for the past 5 years. His rate has not gone up. So, but he does our estimate of needs for our budget for the county to be submitted onto the state, and he does our agreed upon procedures, which then he also files with the state for us. And he files a few other
Is he on
state
Watonga?
forms. He's on Watonga. Several towns and places around here use him. I know a lot of them just went to Carol over in Enid, which did, but he's always come and got our stuff and we have it back on time. And if he has questions, he calls, emails, whatever. He does our quarterly payroll reporting for us as well. And all of his, he sends books back for everybody to have, and it's here for public access for anybody that needs it. So we could.
So you can come in and look at it.
Huh?
Come in and look at it.
But I just need, your approval to go ahead, do a meeting to go ahead and begin that because he wants to pick it up next week.
Yes, ma'am, I approve.
And I will do that. I'll get it all together this weekend.
Larry,
Yes.
did you and Jody have,
Kelly, you got this.
I gotta wait.
oh, sorry.
It's okay. I need a second to Matt's motion to.
Yes, I second her. And yes.
Okay. Bixler, you're.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, we're, me and Jody's with, as you well know, Freedom Mercantile, and we're asking the city to approve an AHJ form, which bypasses all the state regulations that they require. The state fire marshal that come by, David O'Connors, he told me that I needed to do this because they had over 1,200 permits for marijuana grow houses, and there's only 10 in the state. And by the time I get the permits and get them approved, it could be 3 to 6 months. So I'm asking the city to sign off on the AHJ form and allow me to just get the fire marshal down here and test the Ansel and the overhead and be ready to open up.
That was item 10 we talked about.
Right.
And what did our,
And you're asking the city attorney to
Yes.
approve those
Yes.
ordinances. So asking in an ordinance first,
Yeah.
which will have to be.
So within a special
Next
meeting.
Monday.
Monday?
Oh, we gotta wait till Monday?
We're hungry.
I made ice cream today, I got some diced
you
tea.
should have brought that the first meeting.
Oh, I was gonna give it away free, but that'd be bribery.
When you're talking permitting and all that, what's it bypassing?
It bypasses the permits that the state fire marshal requires. You have to get an architect, you've got to draw dots on the floor to show where you're 50 foot from each exit. You have to submit about 4 or 5 applications for new buildings, new equipment, and I want to pay a code enforcer, an independent one, to come out and go through my building because the fire marshals already came through it and found a couple little items like instead of red lights lit up on the exit, I needed 2 white lights to come on, and virtually that was really the only problems that he really seen. And I had an exit sign hanging up on to go into the back of the building. I had to jerk it down. We just stuck it up on the wall, and because if they'd run back there, they couldn't have got out. So, but so virtually, he didn't see any problems other than the application fees, and with him booked so long that he couldn't tell me. Well, he's the one that told me how to go to do this. So he's Byside's done it, Fargo's done it, Buffalo's done it, Laverne's done it. They just did it over at Byside for a bar and restaurant called Red's, and the city of Byside just did the same thing I'm asking for. So.
But is that different than what you're wanting to do? You're wanting to set up codes.
It's similar, yes.
And that sounds like he's
Yep.
wanting to go around them.
No,
I'm just trying to get it straight in my mind. I
No.
thought you were wanting.
That's what I'm doing.
If somebody puts something in, you gotta have these codes, it's gotta be.
that's
Fire
they
marshal.
coexist. They're the same
Is that
thing.
worries me if we're
No,
going
no,
around
no,
with the fire
no.
marshal?
We're not going on anybody. We're not going to anybody. That's why.
What they're requiring, as of January the 1st, they want to see every electrical outlet. They want to see the original floor plan of the building. I don't even know, I don't even know where that is. And those are some of the things that they're asking us to do. Well, since we don't have the original floor plans, we have to bring someone out to go under and look and look and look, and it's just, because we were, it's just a lot of time.
Money.
I understand that, but
Well-
being on the fire side, I would hate
Sure.
to bypass something and then we have a fire and people die.
All the electricity and all the plumbing's been done by licensed plumbers and licensed electricians. And Northwest, I've got all the invoices right here. Northwest Fire and Safety LLC, they put the Ansels in on all the overheads throughout the state of Oklahoma. This has to be approved before they can even install it, but the state fire marshals, mine's been approved, they've installed it. I'm just waiting on the test to make sure it's gonna blow the chemical out, so.
The fire marshal told you to do just
Yes,
because they are
yeah,
so.
yeah,
They're the ones that
yeah,
talk.
yeah,
They
yeah.
can't get out and do their deal, correct?
Yeah, he said he had 1,200 new applications and 10 of them for the whole state. Had
And there's
11,
two
one-
guys that go around and do that.
had 11 of them and one quit, so that's what David said. So, yeah. So that's what I'm asking.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
You got this?
Call it order. Okay, roll call. Hold on, for 8:03, your order.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
8:04.
Roll call, Big Star,
Yes.
Ludington.
Yes. I make a motion the state of quorum is met.
I second.
Vote Ludington,
Yes.
Big Star.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 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 yes.
Sorry. Discussion action on past meeting minutes from July 14th, 2021. I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Vote Ludington,
Yes.
Bixler.
Yes.
Okay, discussion action on purchase orders for the MTA funds.
I approve. I read them over.
I make a motion to approve the purchase orders for the MTA funds.
Yes, ma'am.
You second.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Ludington, your vote.
Yes.
Bixler.
Yes, ma'am.
And new business, we just discussed it, didn't we?
Yes.
Gas contract, next month.
And